So the last topic we finished off is that we started with e-governance, or what are the topic we finished off in the last class? Stages of e-governance, correct? So stages of e-governance, in that what was the stages? Is that we started with stages, or so we started with government to citizen interaction. I think that was the last thing we finished off, correct? Okay. So in stages of e-governance, so we just listed out 3 stages, correct? One is government to citizen, next government to government, and government to business. These are 3 stages we listed out. So in that we saw about government to citizen interaction. Is that we finished off with the example friends? So is that we finished off with the example friends? Okay. So that's an initiative in Kerala. We finished off with that. Okay. So in that next next stage of or the next interaction is government to business interaction. Next one is government to business interaction. Okay. So we finished off with government to citizen. So assume that if you are a businessman, if you are a businessman, for what type of interaction will you have with the government? So if you want to interact with the government, what may be the reason for interaction is? Very logical one. Assume you are a businessman, correct? So what may be the reason for interacting? Okay, related to taxes, clearances. Okay. For example, first one. So related to clearances. So when you say clearances means, you can give the example of EIA, environmental impact assessment. Okay, that is one. And then approvals. Okay, clearances, and also you put approvals. So you go for clearances and approvals. Then any other thing apart from this? Registration, the basic one, correct? So registration of company. So when you are starting a company, you want to register a company. For that, you need to go to the government, correct? Next, policies. Okay, next thing is policies. Okay, right now as a businessman, you want to know what government policies are, correct? And can you give any good examples of the policies which is more related to business world from government side? So can you list out some of the policies which is more relevant to business world from government? Government is one is labor codes. Apart from labor codes, what is PLI? Okay, any other thing apart from this? What other policies are related to the business world based on the government is? So insolvency and bankruptcy code, correct? Privatization, production link incentives. Okay. So good examples of policies. Very basic one, as you all put is also correct, the statements. For example, FDA policy. You want to know what is government's FDA policy in your respective sector, correct? And what a recent expansion given by a prime minister for this? Anyone gone through the expansion given by the prime minister for this regarding FDA? FDA, everyone knows it's foreign direct investment, correct? But recently, a prime minister gave an expansion. What that expansion is? Foreign, not disinformation. He said foreign destructive ideology. Okay, FDA means foreign destructive ideology, correct? Is it good or bad? What's your opinion? Good or bad? Bad, correct. Is that is going to impact investments in India? What's your opinion? As Prime Minister said, is that is going to impact our investments in India? Okay. Please understand. No, okay, it's not that. So it's Prime Minister saying these terms, but if you go for government actions, you literally see that government's actions are not based on it. So we are moving towards more foreign direct investments, and we are creating opportunities like ease of doing business, and all those things are happening practically. Probably he may have said that in parliament. We need to know in what context he said. because media will take only most sensitive things, correct? So foreign destructive ideology, Prime Minister said for FDI, that will be the statement in media, but what is the context on which he said like that, we never know it. So mostly it will not have a biggest impact, but if actions are based on that verdict, so by that expansion, that will be a biggest trouble. Okay. FDI policies, EXIM policies. What is EXIM policies? Means export-import policies, correct? And SEZ policies. Lot of other policies are there, like right now we have this labor code. Please understand, this can be a potential mains question. Go and check this labor code. Recently government came out with this labor code, and potential for asking question is very high. So he is accessing the prospects of his Make in India program, but that may be a aspect. But even if you want to focus on Make in India, so can anyone say what is the difference between Make in India and Made in India? What is Make in India? What is Made in India? What is the difference in this? Why we never say Made in India? Anyone have an idea? Why we never say Made in India? Why we say only Make in India? So what is the difference here? Make in India, Made in India. Not export purpose. My question is, what is the difference between Make in India versus Made in India? Rose of India used in product, Make in India to invite foreign companies, correct? Make in India is more indigenous, no. Okay. Please understand, Make in India means what government is saying is, we are creating the environment for manufacturing. Any company in the world can come to India and do manufacturing activities. It's called Make in India. You will understand the point. What is Made in India is indigenous. So in a government itself says that Make in India, correct? So we create the environment, you come and manufacture here. So that's the difference here. So if you say Make in India, you can't say FDI as foreign destructive ideologies, correct? We need to check the context. That's the point. Okay. So if you go for next thing is fourth one, tax payments. As I already put it. Some of your friends already mentioned that. Tax payments. This is government to business interaction. So if you are a businessman, these are the few areas. It's not the entire areas. There's a few areas where you interact with the government, correct? Very broadly. So what is the example here is, so you can take the example of MCA 21. Example is MCA 21. What is this MCA 21 means? If I am fast, let me know it. Okay. Incentives, subsidies, you can relate all those things. So if I am fast, let me know it. What is MCA 21 means? Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, 21st century. An e-governance initiative. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, 21st century. An e-governance initiative to provide services for registration of company, informations regarding corporate governance. Informations regarding corporate governance. And in the recent budget, our finance minister said that MCA 21 3.0. Please go and check what is 3.0 for mains point perspective, not in prelims. What is this 3.0? A new version of e-governance initiative, MCA 21. Okay. So this is regarding government to business interaction. Okay. So next one is, so government to government interaction. Next one is government to government interaction. When you say government to government interaction, keep in mind India is a federal country. So there are 3 levels of government, correct? Government means most of the time we always equate with union level. Apart from union level, we have state level and local governments. What may be the interaction between these 3 levels? You are understanding what is the interaction between these 3 levels? For what reason these 3 levels need to interact with each other? One is tax devolution. That is one. Okay, that may be one. We need to share the resources. Okay, then any other thing? Implementation of schemes. Okay, implementation of schemes. Okay, security angle. Okay, then implementation of schemes. Any other aspects apart from this? Concurrent list issue is different. Just use your common sense. Right now, why a union government need to interact with state government or interact with local government? As you said, for tax sharing, that may be one. Fund allocations, disaster management, okay. Elections, okay. Data sharing, federal disputes. Niti Aayog is an institution, correct? Infrastructure. So governance purpose. Okay, we'll list it out some of the reasons why there should be an interaction among the levels of the government. First one is to share resources. First one is to share resources. Okay, example, financial resource. To share resources, example, financial resource. As you said, GST, all these things. The next thing is to provide guidelines. Provide guidelines for policy implementation. So provide guidelines for policy implementation. And what good example for this thing is take smart cities, correct? When you say smart cities means it's an interaction between local government and union level, correct? Union government is creating a program called smart cities. In state level, they select the cities which is under the category of smart cities, where union government will give the funds for local governments and they provide the guidelines. All these things can be an interaction. Okay. To provide guidelines for policy implementation, even you can write the example of smart cities. The next one is to share the best practices. To share the best practices in governance. What is sharing the best practices means? From one state, other states can learn what is happening there, what is they are able to achieve it, so they can replicate in their respective states also, correct? And can you give any examples like that? So one state it was very successful. Based on that model, other states are coming out with initiatives. Any good examples like that, correct? Midday meal scheme is a good example. A great example is midday meal scheme, correct? Then apart from midday meal scheme, so PM Kisan is a good example. Please understand, PM Kisan is created by union government, but before itself in Orissa. In Odisha, they created a similar scheme like PM Kisan. So based on that only, union government came out with this PM Kisan. So PM Kisan is one, correct? And Kerala's model of primary health center, that's correct, okay. COVID strategy, okay, great. Even take example of Tamil Nadu, there are certain ideas of Tamil Nadu copied across India. One is midday meal scheme. Apart from this, you know this Amma canteen, subsidized foods, correct? That is being spread across India right now. We have in Maharashtra and Karnataka, Andhra. So that's called sharing of best practices. So here comes the role of e-governance, sharing of best practices. Okay. Similarly, ambulances, all this you can relate it. So my intention is to understand what is best practices means. Okay. So an example here. Smart Gov or smart government. Example, smart Gov or smart government. An e-governance initiative. An e-governance initiative. In the state of Andhra Pradesh. An e-governance initiative in the state of Andhra Pradesh. To connect various departments. If I'm fast, let me know it. Okay. To connect various departments and ministries. To design public policies. To design public policies. So that is government to government interaction. Okay. And what about Andhra in news? Can anyone say why Andhra is in news? I'm asking last 1 year or something, not related to recent ones. So Andhra was in news for certain reasons. Can you identify what was the reason? Why it was in news? Correct? Rice ATMs, that is one. And apart from this, you know that Andhra government said that they are going to create 3 capitals, correct? Creation of 3 capitals. And so door delivery of ration, okay. That is one. Chief Minister and High Court judge issue was there, correct? So my point is, one biggest factor is this 3 capitals for the state, correct? Is it a good idea or not? Cellular mystery, this is one, that is correct. So what is the what's your viewpoint on it? Creating a 3 capital for a state, good or bad? If you say good, what may be the reason for this? So decentralization is good, right? It's a good idea. Development. So we'll have logistics problems, correct? Okay. So why I'm asking this is, please understand, especially you know that India is right now urbanizing, right? So can anyone say what percentage of Indians are in urban centers? Any idea? Anyone know the facts? Out of 100 Indians, how many Indians are settled in urban India? That's correct, 30%. Okay, 30 to 40% and 30%. So the point is, they say that India is getting urbanized. And they say creating 3 capitals for a state is a good idea. What the reason is, you're going to split that development in 3 different locations. And if you go and check urbanization in India, and I'm saying from state specific, if you go and check urbanization, mostly you can see that state capital have largest concentration of population when compared with other cities. One of the major reasons is because all this happens in one city. It will be the political capital, it will be the industrial capital, correct? Judicial capital. So for everything, people need to come there, so it gets congested. So because development is concentrated in one city. So the best idea from urbanization point of view is to decentralize the cities. That may be the best idea, correct? But they say someone is saying, some other people are saying it's because of political reason, correct? But from administrative angle, that's good. Can anyone say which country has already done that? So which country has already done this idea? So based on that only, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister said that we can do like that, correct? That's correct, South Africa. So this can be a prelims question. Okay. He said that in South Africa already they have this model. By that, similar to that, we can have in Andhra, he said, correct? How many of you check this capitals of South Africa? So that can be a prelims question, correct? Please go and check in South Africa what are the 3 capitals and each capital what they are responsible for. Administrative capital, judicial capital, legislative capital. Just check all these things. Okay. So government to government interactions. So what about Jammu and Kashmir? So right now in Jammu and Kashmir, you say that we have 2 capitals, correct? So right now Jammu and Kashmir is union territory. So that reason is especially for climate reason, correct? So why Jammu and Kashmir, they got 2 capitals entirely because of climate reason. So right now we go for the next one, structures. What we saw is stages. Next thing is structures. Structures of e-governance. So what is structures means? My question is, right now this month, Feb and March, what is importance in India? Feb and March from government perspective. So that's, everyone knows that Feb and March for government perspective, it's a time of budget, correct? And which ministry is involved in it? It's a very simple question, correct? Which ministry involved in budget is, everyone knows that, that is finance ministry. But my question is, can anyone say which department in finance ministry is responsible for budget? Any idea? Which department? Anyone have an idea? Which department is responsible for budget making in Ministry of Finance? Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs is very different. Please understand. Niti Aayog is nowhere related to it. Planning Commission is nowhere related to it, correct? And what are the departments there? That's the most important thing, correct? Someone has rightly put, please understand, that is responsibility of Department of Economic Affairs. So Ministry of Finance, we have Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Expenditure, Department of Revenue. So in this Department of Economic Affairs is responsible for budget making. So why I am saying this is, though we say ministry, but in reality departments are the most effective one. They are responsible for the actions of the ministry. They give it as a name ministry, but within that ministry we have many departments. So budget is the responsibility of Department of Economic Affairs. Okay. So similar to that, so what are the importance of structures in India right now for e-governances? First important structure is DIT. Department of Information Technology. Department of Information Technology. What is this importance is Department of Information Technology. Nodal authority. The nodal authority responsible to determine information technology policy, regarding e-governance, protocols for e-governance projects, determining hardware, software for implementing e-governance projects. So that is DIT, Department of Information Technology, which comes under Ministry of Electronics and IT. The next thing is NIC, National Informatics Center. NIC means National Informatics Center. The administrative authority, National Informatics Center, the administrative authority responsible for implementing e-governance initiative. And next, SDC. Next thing is SDC, State Data Center. SDC, State Data Center. So can anyone say, in global level, who is the most powerful person in global level? According to you, who is the most powerful person in global level right now? I'm asking individual. One is Joe Biden, okay, that is US president, and we have Russian president Vladimir Putin, correct? Putin is the powerful one, okay. Then that's correct. Department formulates and NIC implements, correct? And so why I'm asking this is Salman of Saudi Arabia. Someone has rightly put. So we always assume that political personalities are the most powerful one, correct? But please understand, the reality is not like that, correct? Who is the most powerful person is the persons who control social media. Can you understand the point? The person who controls social media is considered to be the most powerful one. Example, it can be Google, Facebook, Twitter, correct? So what is recently happening between Government of India and Twitter? So what is happening between Government of India and Twitter? So regulation problem is okay. Recently something is going on between Twitter and Government of India. What that problem is? So Article 19, all this is okay. Technicality is okay. especially regarding this farmers protest. And we know that in Twitter it's very active. And Indian government asked Twitter to block some accounts and do all those stuffs. And Twitter said that we can't do it. And what Indian government is saying is similar to farmers protest. In which is the other democracy events happen like this? Any idea? In which other democracy similar to farmers protest happening in Delhi happened is? It's not Myanmar. So you know that it's not China. I'm asking about US, correct? Especially a recent election of US and the supporters of Trump entering Capitol Hill. All this happened, correct? So Indian government was comparing that, correct? So when Twitter was handling this US democracy issue, it was very soft and pro-government. Right now when it comes for India, it's against government. So even some of the ministers are saying that we have some alternate platform created by Indians, correct? I don't know how many of you checked all those things. So what the point is, right now who is the most powerful person? It's not the political masters, correct? So Indian democracy is right now threatened by Twitter, correct? The social media. So they are the most powerful one. Can anyone say why they are powerful? Why these persons are powerful? They reach the masses, correct? And apart from this power of anonymity, there is one biggest tool they have. What are the reason? Why they are powerful, correct? So deep fakes are there, influence the narrative, fake news, information is power, correct? Please understand one of the reason why they are the powerful one is they are the persons who are controlling big data. Anyone have an idea what is big data means? This all can be a science and technology question in prelims. What does big data means? So can anyone say what does big data means? This can be a SNT question. So large amount of personal data. Okay, then. So please understand all these institutions like Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, and what we use as a social media platform, they are collecting data from us. Okay. What is the major source of income for them, correct? As an individual, every social media platform is free for us, correct? We just download it and use it. But you can see that these companies are one of the biggest economic mites, correct? Facebook is the largest one. Amazon is the largest one, correct? So if you take how they get the money then, they are not charging from the consumers. We are not giving money. So what a major source of money for them is? That is nothing but targeted advertisements. Especially what they do is they collect data about you and give it to the companies based on your search history and everything, correct? So you can see that they are the most powerful persons. And another interesting thing is, my question is that all the social media platform present in China? What's your idea? Facebook, WhatsApp, all is that present in China? What's your opinion on it? Please understand, in China, all these platforms are not there. They have their own version. Like Google, they have their own version. Like WhatsApp, they have their own version, correct? That is what right now India is trying to do. The reason is, why they want to do that? So why they want to do that? So why they want to do that is because Chinese want to make sure that their people are not influenced by outside forces, correct? A simple way of saying this is, right now we have a Google, correct? And whatever you want, we search in Google. But if you go for Chinese equivalent of Google, there are certain terms you can't find it there. For example, in Chinese version of Google, they have their equivalent there. If you go and type democracy, there will be no term related to it. Can you understand the point? In Chinese search engine, if you type democracy, there will be no meaning for it. What is democracy? It's not given there, correct? But police will come to your home, correct? Who typed democracy? Can you understand the point? So what's the point is, in modern day era, the person who controls data, they are considered to be the most powerful one, correct? Right from Amazon to Facebook or WhatsApp. So what we can understand, what is this relation with SDC is state data center, right? What is state data center means? A basic infrastructure containing datas, information about e-governance initiatives, comma, citizen consumers, citizen consumers. Please go and check this data protection bill. Is that you came across this one? Data protection bill. That's for mains perspective. Data protection bill. Is that you came across this term? Data protection bill, right? Not at past. So you can see that they are referring all this what we discussed right now, correct? What Indian government is saying that all this social media platforms need to have a local server. All the servers are located not in India. Whatever things you do it goes to US and then goes to the next person, correct? Can anyone say what is the reason for having a local server? Any reason behind it? So can anyone say what is the reason for having a local server? Facebook need to have a local server in India. Similarly, WhatsApp. So what may be the reason for this? To protect sovereignty. Apart from protect sovereignty is not in times of war. Data does not go out of the government, can regulate. One of the biggest challenge right now for the government is if you want to put any legal issue against Facebook or WhatsApp or any social media platform, Indian law will not apply. Why Indian law will not apply is because their server is not in India. So they are not physically present in India. So the laws will not apply to them. So if you want to file a case against Facebook, US law will apply. Can you understand the point? Because they have the server there. So India want to avoid all these legal tussles. So they want to have the local server. All these are there in data protection bill. Go and check all those things. What is this data protection bills means? Okay. So SDC is the next important structure. Fourth one is SWAN. Fourth one is SWAN. That is statewide area network. SWAN means statewide area network. I'll say it again. SWAN means statewide area network. An optic fiber connectivity. An optic fiber connectivity to link SDC, State Data Center, and Common Service Center. We'll see what this Common Service Center means. So right now, what are the project in India for this SWAN? What are the project in India for this? There is some project name is there. Anyone able to identify the project name? BharatNet, that's correct. BharatNet, PM Vani. Especially BharatNet is a good example. We have this national optic fiber network connecting all the villages in India, correct? So that all comes under SWAN. Can anyone say how many villages are there in India? How many villages are there in India? Approximately how many villages are there in India? So we have around 6 lakh villages. So under this BharatNet, they are going to connect all these villages, correct? So whenever they say connectivity, please keep in mind, connectivity also includes digital infrastructures, not only road, railways, it also includes digital infrastructure. So finally, last one, Common Service Center. Common Service Center. At district level, Common Service Center means at district level, to establish ICT based infrastructure, ICT based infrastructure to provide public services. Next. This also provide employment opportunities. So this also provide employment opportunities to educated rural youth in India. So to understand the importance of this, what is this Common Service Center and employment opportunities, When you take urban India, rural India, which is developing very fast, urban India, rural India, which is developing very fast. And everyone knows that right now urban India is developing fast. Ultimately, what happens? People are migrating from rural India to urban India. So to stop that, so there is one such initiative, common service centers. So in rural areas, we create this common service centers to provide e-governance based public services in villages. That creates an employment opportunity, correct? Another interesting thing is, right now we say that this is an initiative of a government, correct? So government says that we can create common service centers so that people can get employment in rural areas. Is that anyone know a company is doing this? Anyone have an idea which company is doing that? They are shifting the office from urban India to remote villages in rural areas. Can you identify which company is that? Any idea? Reliance? No, it's not Reliance. Okay, Tata? No, correct? Please go and check this. Not Microsoft. Okay, it's an Indian company, but they are competing with Google and Microsoft. Go and check this. So there's a company called Zoho. So Zoho is doing that. They have their headquarters in Chennai, but they're shifting all their operations to rural areas. You can use this as an example in your answer writing. Go and check their story so you can have a better understanding. And you need to think where you can write as an example. Okay. So it's not only government is doing right now, even privates are doing, correct? So just keep that in mind. It's in deep south Tamil Nadu. They are going to create this companies and all. So they say that it creates a lot of employment opportunities, all these things. So just go and check the story behind this. Just to give an example, what common service center want to achieve right now, we have a corporate or a company is doing it. The name is Zoho. Okay. And they are competing with Google, Microsoft. Okay. They are very global famous. So these are the structures of e-governance. So what we saw right now is what is e-governance, what are the stages of e-governance and their benefits, and we saw structures. Okay. Now the next one is second ARC. Second Administrative Reforms Commission. I already said that, formed in 2007. They gave the report in 9. What this Administrative Reforms Commission has done is they studied the entire Indian system from e-governance perspective, Indian administration from e-governance perspective, and find what are the challenges and how to overcome it. Okay. The second ARC and e-governance. Second ARC and e-governance. Second ARC and e-governance. So can anyone say what are important news in today's paper? Is that you got time to read paper or are you attending classes? Has anyone gone through the headlines or similar to that? Okay, read editorial. Okay. Any other thing? India, China. Okay. Then apart from India, China. So any other news articles? I'm asking from prelims perspective. Okay. Not only means, mostly in prelims perspective, any important news in today's news article. In today's paper. Twitter India is okay. Twitter India. Okay then. Again, I'm asking from prelims angle. From prelims angle, any newses you think that, okay, this may be relevant for a prelims preparations. So anyone gone through similar informations or anything like that? So anyone gone through the informations? Deforestation across states. Okay. Anyone gone through the information regarding Gaganyaan? So what is this Gaganyaan mission? What is Gaganyaan mission? So Gaganyaan mission, we know that, correct? It's a main manned space flight. So India is aiming for it. And by 2022, that was a target year. They had postponed it because of this corona pandemic. That was the reason why it came in news. This can be a science and technology question, correct? So zero gravity, all those things, just have a basic understanding. Sometimes UPSC will take a lead and ask some questions based on that news articles, correct? And please understand, India is doing for the first time. There may be chances of questions in science and technology. Why humans want to wear a suit when they go for outer space? Very basic one, correct? Sometimes we leave out all those things and focus on all technical aspects. You will not touch the thing. Okay, why humans want to wear a suit? What is zero gravity means? So what are challenges in zero gravity? Whether a tree grows or not tree, or whether a plant grows in zero gravity. All these things. Just have a basic understanding. Check all those things. Okay. So that was a news article, correct? So they are taking training in Russia. That's correct. So they're going to eat Indian food only. That's correct. They're going to eat Indian food, and they have given the choices. Right now, there is a research organization in India working on a DRDO. They have given choices for the astronauts to choose, including biryani and all. Okay. So even when you go for outer space, there is no problem for biryani, right? So another interesting aspect about biryani. So can anyone say in Tamil Nadu, per year, how much money people spend for biryanis? Any idea? Biryani alwa, that's correct. Okay. Can anyone say in Tamil Nadu, how much people spends for biryani every year? Any approximate number? Interesting fact, that's it. Okay. To know that how in Tamil Nadu people are spending money for biryanis. Not, I'm asking some numbers. More than 70%, no. So 100 crores approximately. Okay. It is said that in last year, there was some data collected in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu means entire people of Tamil Nadu spend around 5,000 crores for eating biryani. Can you understand the point? 5,000 crore for eating biryanis. All different types of biryanis, right? From non-veg to veg and everything. So that is the level of spending here in Tamil Nadu. Okay, that is taken to space right now. Okay, so leave out that. So right now we go for second ARC and e-governance. Okay, so second ARC and e-governance. We'll see some of the recommendations given by second ARC to improve e-governance in India. Okay. So in that first important point is, says official count, or if it unofficial also means, it combined both official and unofficial, everything only. Established brands, apart from that, in road shops, all they calculated it. So in that second ARC report, what is the first point is, how to improve e-governance. To build congenial. What does congenial means? To build congenial means enabling environment. To build congenial or enabling environment for e-governance. So you need to understand what does enabling means, correct? My question is, if you want to create a very good e-governance, is that writing software is enough, or creating an app is enough? What's your viewpoint? Can you understand my question? If you want to have a very good, effective e-governance, my question is, just creating app is enough, or just creating a software is enough? What are other requirements? Skill upgradation need to be there, network need to be there, correct? User friendly, digital divide, okay. Then any other thing? Infrastructures, okay. Digital literacy, that's great. Okay, write down. What is congenial environment means? That's the purpose I'm asking you, correct? So in India, what is the very basic infrastructure still need to reach Indians? Can you say what is that very basic infrastructure? Without that, e-governance can't be effective. Still, there are certain basic infrastructure we are not able to reach to the Indians. What are those basic infrastructure? Not internet. Internet is the extreme thing, correct? Smartphones, not smartphones. I'm asking regarding e-governance. For example, someone has rightly put, correct? Take electricity. Is that all Indians got electricity? We have 130 crore population. Is that every Indian got electricity for them? Literally no, correct? First, we need to take care of that. Then only we can speak about e-governance or apps and everything. So what the first congenial environment is, in that there are few points. This is the first point. In that there are few points. First one is to build basic infrastructure. Basic infrastructure such as power, telecom connectivity, power, telecom connectivity, internet connectivity. So to understand this, we always assume what is India means, what's our life experience, that is India, correct? We have a perception like that. So when someone asks about India means, based on your life experience, we think that will be India. So if you are in metro cities, you think that India means this will be all 130 crore population will be enjoying the lifestyle of yours, correct? But the reality is very different. How we can see that thing is, once you get into services, you can really understand it. And can you say in which are the cadres or which are the states? You don't have this basic infrastructures. Can you say which are the states like that? So Odisha is one. Apart from Odisha, Bihar. Right now, Bihar is catching up. Please understand, Bihar is catching up. Odisha, Jharkhand, and especially you can see that in northeastern states. In northeastern states, even we don't have basic infrastructures. Take example of connectivity, road connectivity, train connectivity is not there. Assume that what is the time taken for you to travel from your city to Delhi? What is the time, approximate time? So if you want to travel to Delhi, what is the approximate time taken for you? Any idea? From your city, either you can be in Bangalore or Chennai or Trivandrum or any place. What will be the time taken for you? Approximate. So more than a day from Chennai, 30 hours. I'm asking if you're going by a flight, what will be the time taken? If you're going by a flight, at the maximum it will be around 1 hour. Travel time will be 1 hour. You need to reach airport 1 hour before. All these things takes around 3 to 4 hours. You can reach the Delhi, correct? But if you are in northeastern states and if you are in South India, you belong to South India and you got your service in Nagaland or Manipur or Mizoram. Can anyone say what is the time taken to reach your home? Anyone have an idea? What is the time taken to reach your home? Assume that you are posted in Nagaland. From Nagaland, you want to reach to Bangalore. What will be the time taken for you? From Bangalore to Delhi, it's around 4 hours at the maximum. Traveling time, all equated. From home. From this place to that place, it takes 4 hours. Can anyone say what is the time taken when you want to reach from Nagaland to Bangalore? Literally, it takes around 1 day. Takes around 1 day. Which district you are, that is most important. If you are in a district far away from the capital, state capital, that itself takes around 7 to 8 hours because there is no proper road connectivity. Train network is not there, literally no proper road connectivity. When you're coming to your particular city, anything can happen, delays will be there. From Nagaland, if you are lucky enough in that state capital, if there is a flight connectivity, that is well and good. Or else, what are the most reliable flight connectivities? You need to reach Calcutta, okay, or you need to go for Assam. That you need to again come by road. So ultimately, it takes around 1 day to reach your spot. Can you understand the point? Even we don't have basic infrastructures. Then only we think about e-governance or mobile apps, all these things. So that's the first point, enabling environment to build the basic infrastructures. Then second one, the same enabling environment, second one. Next question is Indians are able to use modern technologies? What is the biggest problem for Indians in using modern technologies? Indians means I'm not asking about yourself. Majority of Indians, and we know that around 60% of Indians are in rural India. What is the biggest challenge for them? Illiteracy. What illiteracy they have? So not income is a problem. One of the biggest problem is digital illiteracy. So they doesn't know how to use technologies. Take example of ATM machines. In rural areas, people doesn't know how to use a ATM machine, right? It's not their problem because they don't have education that translates into how they interact with modern day world. They can't do it. So that is the next biggest challenge. So what the second point is? To enhance digital literacy. To enhance digital literacy among citizens. Okay, that's called digital divide. In bracket, you can write digital divide. And there was a recent Oxfam report. Is that I discussed about this Oxfam report? Okay. So, regarding Oxfam report, So it's given based, it's an international organization. In India also they got an institution. And in COVID situation, during this COVID or Corona pandemic, how society got divided, rich poor divide, and one such divide is regarding education. And they found out that in poor families, because of Corona, they don't have money for digital connectivity and all. So ultimately, students are losing their study opportunities. Okay, digital divide. So digital literacy is an important factor. That's the second point. Third one is, can you say why in government offices people are not using computers? Government offices, and please leave out in urban areas. In urban areas, people are using computers, but if you go for rural areas, rural government offices, there you can see that they'll never use computers. What will be the reason for this? No, it's not about funds. It's not about funds. Connectivity is there. Less population is not a trouble for them, correct? If you are an officer in panchayat, in remote panchayats, why you are not using computers? Not about people, correct? Even if one person is coming, you can use computers to provide the services. Why they are not using? Illiteracy, okay. Education, IT, network connections, okay. Technical knowledge, that's correct. The reason is government introduced a new technology, that is computers or any IT infrastructures, and they have an employee. Both are not interacting. One of the major reasons is people or employee doesn't know how to use this computers. Can you understand the point? Or simply to say that in government offices, computers are like God. So what we can understand from this, especially in rural areas. So computers are like gods means what we can understand here. So what you can understand from this, computers are like God means they are worshipped. Apart from worship, what the other most important thing is? So they are worshipped, that is okay. What the next thing is? It's precious, inaccessible. Please understand the most important thing is, you can see the God, but you should not go and touch it, correct? What we can see in temples, correct? You can see the God, but you should not touch it. So in government offices, computers are like God. Okay, they put some cover for it and properly preserved, but no one uses the computers there. The reason is training is not there. So right on third point, to provide digital training. Provide digital training for employees to use IT infrastructures. Fourth one, to provide incentives. Provide incentives for implementing e-governance initiative. First, we need to understand what is incentives means, correct? That's the fourth point. My question is, you are preparing for civil services, correct? Why you want to get into it? Can anyone give you points? Why you want to get into civil services? Because a lot of opportunities are there in the market, correct? So why you want to get into civil services? If that's an interview question, if you are going for UPSC interview, if they ask why you want to get into civil services, what will be the reason behind it? It's a prestigious services, okay. I feel I can make the society better, okay, great. To serve the poor, okay. It's a transferable job, will get to a lot of places, okay. To serve the people, to make larger scale impact in the society, responsible, enhance standard of life, serve the society, correct? So I ask this question is, economic security, very practical. Job security, very practical, correct? I want a job where they will not throw me out. Okay. Is that voice is okay for you? Any issues in my voice? Is there any issues in audio, video? Okay. So, okay. For others, it's not a problem. For one candidate, there's an issue. Please check it on your side. Video lag is there. Okay. Please, I'll check on my side. Connected, பிரச்சனை இல்லையா? Okay. So in our side, it's good. So if you have any issues, let me know it. Okay. For others, it's not a problem. For one or two, there's issues. Okay. So why I asked this question is, you said that what is the reason for joining civil service? That's an incentive, correct? So why you want to join a civil service? Some said that I want a secure job. Some said that I want to change the society. Some said that it's a dynamic job. This we call it as incentives. So you want to have proper implementation of e-governance. We need to have incentive structures. So people can implement e-governance. You know that whenever government comes out with policies or programs, you can clearly find out that they have very good incentive structures, correct? So what that incentive structures means, recently in budget they spoke about this vehicle scrapping policy. Is that you gone through that vehicle scrapping policy of the government? Yes, correct. My question is, government said that any personal vehicle or any commercial vehicle, personal vehicle means 20 years, commercial vehicles means 15 years. Above that, you need to scrap it. Can you understand the point? But what is the incentive given by the government for this? Government is asking you to scrap it. But what in return you get from the government? Any idea? Anyone gone through that? Subsidies is there. Okay, then apart from this, more taxes for old vehicles, that is being done. So the next thing government said is, okay, tax rebate will be there. That is correct. 15% discount in new vehicles. I think 15% or 5%. What government said is, if you are scrapping your old vehicle, we will give you a certificate of scrapping certificate. When you buy a new vehicle, the total cost of the vehicle, 5% will be reduced. Can you understand? This is called incentive. So what the second ERC says is, whenever you want to implement e-governance, create incentive structures. So without that, you can't have a proper implementation. Incentives can be positives and also negative. What we discussed about this vehicle scrapping policy is a positive incentive, correct? And a good example of negative incentive, take example of Delhi air pollution. As people are not following the rules and regulation properly, so ultimately what Delhi government said is, we can go for odd even scheme or stop stubble burning. These are all negative incentives. So whenever you want to implement anything, you need to create proper incentive structures. Okay. So these are the congenial environment. If you want to have very good e-governance implementation, you need to have this enabling environment, all these factors. Okay. Around the second factors, second recommendation given by ARC, that is second ARC gave the next recommendation. The next thing is business process re-engineering. So business process re-engineering. Business process re-engineering. So what this point is, business process re-engineering means, I don't. If I am fast, let me know it. Okay. While implementing business process re-engineering, while implementing e-governance, government rules and regulations. Government rules and regulations need to be based on objectivity, simplicity. Based on objectivity, simplicity. If any rules not able to satisfy, if any rules not able to satisfy these conditions can be eliminated in implementation process. So what this recommendation says is, so when you want to implement e-governance programs or policies, you need to check the government rules. They need to satisfy these two conditions. If they are not satisfied, you can eliminate that particular rules and regulations for implementation. So what happens is, there can be a quick implementation of e-governance. So we need to understand these terms. What is objectivity and what is simplicity means. First we start with objectivity. So can anyone say what is objectivity means? Your understanding of the term objectivity. Anywhere you came across what is objectivity means? Objectivity means aim. Okay, that's not okay. And without bias. Okay, specific, not aim to be achieved, general, there can be no other interpretation, rational, that's great, okay. What the point is, please understand, objectivity is based on, objectivity is your decisions based on information and analysis. Your decisions based on information and analysis. And what is the opposite of objectivity is what we call it as subjectivity, where it is entirely based on emotions. Entirely based on emotions. And please understand, in public services, you should not have this. You should not have subjectivity. What you need to have is only objectivity. So what is objectivity means? How you make your decisions based on information and analysis. Okay. And we can take an example for understanding this objectivity. So recently what happened in Hyderabad? I think today's news. Today's news or yesterday's news? Yesterday evening, I think so, correct? So what happened in Hyderabad? Anyone gone through the news article? Even right now in electronic media is coming a lot. Has anyone gone through that news articles? Hyderabad? Near Hyderabad? Anyone have an idea what that news is? Is that, you know, in Hyderabad, I think yesterday, a girl was raped by 5 men and brutally assaulted, and she is fighting for her life. Is that, you know, this information? Is that you are there or not? No one is responding? Okay. So it's in today's news. Okay, after the classes, you check the electronic media or check news channels. Right now it's coming there. So they said that yesterday there was an incident happened and a girl was raped. My question is, if you go and ask a common man, what punishment need to be given? What will be the reply of them? So what will be the reply of them? If you ask a common man, okay, for this type of crimes, what need to be done? Death punishment, okay, death punishment is given by court also, but what would be the common man's encounter? Okay, one is encounter. Apart from encounter, beaten to death, correct? We should kill them, okay. Any other aspects apart from this? Public punishment, okay, public punishment, okay. Public hanging. So this is what we call it as subjective aspects. So we are driven more based on emotions. If you ask any common man, they say the same thing, correct? Go for public hanging, stone to death, put them in the public place and kill them, correct? All these things will be said. So similar to this, what happened yesterday, I think once in India there was a big issue happening like this. What was that issue? So what was that issue? Like this one, what we see in today's news things. So it's regarding Nirbhaya case, correct? So during that case, there was a suggestion given to the government by some MPs. In parliament, they said that right now Indian women are not safe and people are involving in these crimes. And they gave a suggestion. What the suggestion is? We can go for chemical castration. What is chemical castration means? If a person is involving in this type of crime, put an injection, that person will not be a disturbance to the society. Can you understand the point? But government said no. Can you say why government said no? Can anyone say why government said no for this? They said that, okay, we can't go for this chemical castration and all. We can't do it. Can you say, can anyone have an idea? Unethical? It's not unethical. Article 21, what is Article 21? They are involving in heinous crime, correct? Involving in rape and assaulting the victim, even killing them, correct? So you know this Nirbhaya case and all, correct? Most unhuman. So what is Article 21 for them, correct? Even chemical convention, go and check it. That's not related to this, correct? Punishment for a crime should not be punishment for life. Okay. The reason, please understand, why government said no is, right now in India, around 20% of cases filed. They gave an example. Example like domestic violence or dowry cases are considered to be fake cases. Can you understand the point? It's all fake cases, 20%. With that 20% error, if you go for chemical castration, there may be a chances that the person can be punished, though he may not be involved in it. Okay. So another way of understanding this is assume that right now in India we have chemical castration. In which country they made it compulsory? Can I say in which country they made it compulsory? What is chemical castration? Go and check it. Okay. Chemical castration is nothing but they put an injection. After that, they doesn't have any hormones and all, so they can't have a sexual life. That's it. So maybe Saudi Arabia. It's not Saudi Arabia. Right now, please understand, in Pakistan, they made it as compulsory. In Pakistan, chemical castration law is being passed. My question is, assume that in India, there's a law for chemical castration. And hypothetical situation. In rural area, okay, a young girl and boy below 18 years. Below 18 years means they are minor, probably 16, 17. Came out of the family, got married. They doesn't know about the law and all, correct? They doesn't know what is law, what is India. They are not aware of all those things. They loved each other, so they know that family will not accept. Came out of the family, got married, and they were spending time together, correct? And I already said that they are below 18, correct? Soon family found out. Can anyone say what are the cases will be filed against them? So what are the cases will be filed against them? Because girl is a minor, so what will be the cases filed against them? One is abduction, kidnapping, child marriage, rape, correct? And for rape, you have a chemical castration. But actually, it's a consensual sex, correct? So you can see that this can happen to the system. That is called information analysis. If your decisions are based on information analysis, we call it as objectivity. If it is driven based on emotions, that's nothing but subjectivity. Keep this point in mind. Once you go for interview, we call it as interview, it's a personality test. What they check in you is these factors. Whether you are objective, whether you take the issues from objective sense. Another good example, right now farmers protest is happening, correct? If there is any question, how you say the answers. Whether you have gone through the laws, what are problem in the laws, is government correct, farmers correct. If you are able to say that, that is well and good. If you are driven by emotions, saying that, sir, this government will not take care of the farmers and they are killing farmers, you see what happened in Republic Day, all these things, you need to prepare for your next prelims. So keep that in mind. In public services, objectivity is important. So even implementation of e-governance, objectivity is important. I think you're able to understand what is objectivity means, correct? The next thing is simplicity, very straightforward. Law should be very simple so that it will be easy for implementation. And for that, what good example is ease of doing business. So ease of doing business is entirely driven based on simplicity, correct? If you are starting a business, you doesn't need to move from one department to other department. You doesn't want to waste the time. It's a very simple process. So whenever you want to implement e-governance, the rules and regulations of the government need to satisfy these two parameters. If that is not the situation, you need to eliminate them. Okay. So can you understand what is business process reengineering means? Able to get an understanding what is business process reengineering means? If you put yes, that will be well and good. Okay, I assume that you understood. So next we go for third recommendation of second ARC. Enterprise architecture. Third recommendation is enterprise architecture. Write down what is enterprise architecture means. To convert complex organizational designs. Convert complex organizational designs into flowcharts and diagrams. I'll repeat it again. To convert complex organizational designs into flowcharts and diagrams for determining hardware, software for e-governance implementation. Hardware, software for e-governance implementation. To understand enterprise architecture, right now you are preparing for your GS geography, correct? So if that's a question in mains to write about monsoon, is that topic dealt for you, monsoon? Okay, I'll repeat the point again. So someone is asking to repeat the point, I'll say it. To convert complex organizational designs into flowcharts and diagrams for determining hardwares and softwares for e-governance. So what is this monsoons are? Right now in India, there are two types of monsoon. I just give a brief outline. In geography class, they'll teach you. So that brings the rainfall to India. Okay, right now we have in June month rainfall is correct. That is because of monsoon. One such monsoon is southwest monsoon. What's my point of explaining this statement is, if there's a question regarding southwest monsoon in GS paper, there are two ways of writing an answer. One is descriptive way. You just write in word format and explain what is southwest monsoon is. What is the other best way where an examiner can easily understand your answer is? What other best way of examiner can easily understand your answer is? So what you want to do is draw an India map and draw what is southwest monsoon means, correct? So once an examiner opens the paper, he can clearly understand what is southwest monsoon is. That's the power of diagrams, correct? So what does enterprise architecture means? Effectively use diagrams for understanding e-governance. Okay, that's a basic outline. So next recommendation is enterprise architecture. Next one is knowledge management. Next one is knowledge management. Knowledge management. Write down what is knowledge management means. Horizontal sharing of. Knowledge management. Horizontal sharing of information. Horizontal sharing of information among various departments. Among various departments and ministries to enhance efficiency and productivity. And what a good example for this thing is knowledge management. NAT grid or national grid? NAT grid or national grid? Can anyone have an idea what this NAT grid means? Where is related NAT grid? So NAT grid is related to Mumbai terror attack. So what this NAT grid is? After this Mumbai terror attack, Indian government thought that we need to have an institution to link all the intelligence agencies, correct? Efficiency and productivity. Efficiency and productivity. Can you list out what are the intelligence agencies in India? So what are the intelligence agencies in India? One is IB is there, RAW is there, NIA is investigative agency, CBI is investigative agency, please understand. So IB is intelligence for internal, RAW for external, and along with that we have this military intelligence, revenue intelligence, 11 different agencies are there. After this 2008 Mumbai terror attack, Indian government created this NAT grid. So you can see that information is shared across all these agencies. That is horizontal sharing of information. Because in 2008 Mumbai terror attack, there was a intelligence report stating that there may be a terror attack in Indian cities, especially via sea. That was intelligence given to the governments. But that never reached the proper authorities at the right time, and there were a lot of confusions. So all this experience made India to focus on NAT grid. NAT grid is nothing but the knowledge management, horizontal sharing of information among various departments, especially intelligence departments. Okay. Next one is, last one, technological selection. Last one, technological selection. To understand technological selection, my question is, assume that you are going to buy a smartphone. What are the criteria for it? If you want to buy a smartphone, what are the criteria? So you are going to change your smartphone. What are criteria for it? One is memory. Apart from memory, price, okay, RAM, ROM, okay, camera, memory, budget, okay. Model is there, correct? Brand is there, okay, brand is also there. Display, okay. So these are some of the criteria we choose for technology. This applies to e-governance also. Most of the points what you think for mobile phones also applies for e-governance technologies, correct? So what are those criteria? Is first one is cost effectiveness. If you are deciding any technology, there should be cost effectiveness. To understand this cost effectiveness, please understand, as an Indian, we always love this cost factor, correct? How we can say that? How we say that we love cost factor? Whenever we want to buy something, the first criteria we always take into consideration is cost, correct? How we can understand this? So whenever you want to buy something, so what are the things we expect in that purchases? So you're not going to give money and get the product or services. What are other things we expect in that? What are other things we expect in that? Offers will be there. Apart from offers, big billion day, okay, offers is there, discount is there, correct? So whenever you want to buy something, you always ask with the person, correct, who is providing the products or services, what is the offer given to me, what is the discount, correct? And apart from this, the most important thing is post-sale service is different, correct? Coupons. The most important thing we always love to ask is free, correct? What free things I'm going to get, correct? If you want to buy a mobile phone, whether I get a headset free, correct? Or power bank free. If you are buying a car, whether you get a cover free or not, correct? So Indians, we are very cost effective. We are more focused on cost, correct? So that is first factor. So one is cost effectiveness. Second one is user friendly. Second one is user friendly. So whenever you select a technology, that should be user friendly, correct? To understand what is user friendly, I don't know how many of you know this mobile phone, BlackBerry. Anyone used BlackBerry in your life? BlackBerry. Right now it's not in the market. I think they are re-entering, correct? BlackBerry. Okay, that's question is, can anyone say for whom this BlackBerry was designed? Any idea? So please understand, BlackBerry was designed for business people. Simple way of saying, if you own a BlackBerry, If someone has stolen the BlackBerry, they come and find you and give the phone. The reason is they can't use it because it's not user friendly. It's only for corporate guys that is good. For a common man, if you give a BlackBerry, he doesn't know what to do with that. So user friendly is another most important character whenever you select a technology. One is cost effectiveness. Next thing is user friendly. Third one is scalability. So third one is scalability. So what is this concept of scalability means? Right now, why we love Samsung phone when compared with Apple? Can anyone say why we love Samsung phone when compared with Apple? Cost is similar. Okay. If you want to buy some good phones, correct? So why we always love Samsung is range of product. Android is there, correct? Android is there. Apart from Android, user friendly, even Apple is user friendly, correct? So the most important thing why we love Samsung phones or any Android phone is or the concept of scalability. What is scalability means? For example, extra memory slot. Can you understand the point? But if you go for Apple, it's everything is fixed. Right now, when you go for Samsung, we got an extra memory slot. We can put the extra memory card in it. So we are happy for it, correct? For the same price, we can enhance the capacity. So scalability is the third factor. And fourth one is reliability. Fourth one is reliability. So to understand reliability, we are not taking about technology. We are going for defense area. So can you say in the world level, which weapon is mass produced? Any idea? In world level, which weapon is mass produced? Anyone have an idea? Guns is okay. Which type of gun? That's the question. Which type of gun is mass produced? So assault rifle, you know this AK-47. AK-47. Army uses, terrorist also uses, correct? AK-47. Army person also uses and terrorist also uses. Why both of them are using AK-47? Any idea? It's not sniper guns. Why they are using AK-47? Both army and terrorist. Now the primary reason is AK-47 is known for reliability. What does reliability means? Not only easy accessible, it's not only cost effective, it's a reliable gun. What does reliable gun means? You can take AK-47 to any environment. Okay, it will work. You can surely say that when I pull the trigger, the bullet will go out. That's a reliability factor. That is the reason you can see that in war friends and all, they use AK-47. And so mass produced weapon in the entire world. Terrorist organization, mafias, everyone use that. Reliability factor. Okay, just for understanding what I'm saying reliability. Don't write as an example. Okay. Okay, next thing is, finally last one, data security. Last one is data security. If you are selecting a technology, there should be a data security, correct? So what is this concept of data security is, so one country paid heavy price for it. So what that country is, so there was a virus being developed, Stuxnet virus. Anyone came across this? Anyone came across this virus? Because they compromised on data security, correct? And this virus was developed for Iran, especially Iran's nuclear program. This virus was developed for Iran's nuclear program. Okay. When you say Iran's nuclear program means, which countries will be involved in it? Which countries will be involved in it? Logical one, correct? Which countries will be involved in it? One is USA, US and Israel. So these both countries developed a virus for Iran nuclear power program. One of the reasons is when you take operating system of Iran's nuclear program. Can anyone say what is the standard operating system we have in the world? Standard operating system. Standard operating system is Windows, correct? So they have Windows operating system for this nuclear power projects that was exploited by US and Iran, correct? But if you take India, especially in critical areas like defense or space, which operating system they are using? Any idea? It's a condition when you develop any projects for defense or any ISRO, or the condition is you should not use Windows, you should use Linux. Why you should use Linux is because Linux is an open source document and you can, no virus can be developed for it. Can you understand the point? So data security is also should be the primary focus. And also recently you can see in newspapers and all where army person should not use WhatsApp or Chinese mobiles, all are related to data security. Okay. So this is regarding technological selections. Okay, just go through e-governance right from the first ones. Just go through it. Any clarification? Okay, we'll go for a break. Okay. Last point is data security. Last point is data security. Data security. Last point in technological selection. So any clarification? Any doubts? Okay, right now it's 4. Take 5 minutes break, and after that we can start the remaining aspects. Okay. So we go for a break for 5 minutes. The second point regarding this technological selection is user friendly. Someone asked second point. Okay. That is user friendly. Okay. Okay, write down the questions. If you got time, you can write the answers and send it to me for this topic. Implementation of information and communication technology. Implementation of information and communication technology based projects and programs usually suffers in terms of certain vital factors. I'll say it again. Implementation of information and communication technology based projects and programs usually suffers in terms of certain vital factors. Identify these factors and suggest for their effective implementation. Okay, I'll repeat the question again. Implementation of information and communication technology based projects and programs usually suffers in terms of certain vital factors. Identify these factors and suggest measures for their effective implementation. So we go for the next topic. Next topic is civil society organizations. Can anyone say what is society means? The term society, your understanding. No definition is required. Your understanding of the term society. What society for you? So what is the term society for you? People is there, combination of people. Okay, then institutions. Okay, government. Okay, government is part of it. So collective group of dependent people. That's great. Yeah, group of people with common culture. Okay. So what is society means? There are two important factors for it. One is group of people and culture. Common values and culture, we call them as society. Okay. So what is civil society organization means? Read out. An aggregate or group of institutions that represents people's will or interest in the society is called civil society. Repeat. An aggregate or group of institutions that represents people's will or interest in the society is called civil society. The institutions include NGOs, self-help groups, pressure groups. So NGOs, self-help group and pressure groups. Okay. So in that first one is, okay, if I'm fast, let me know it. Okay. In that first one is NGOs. NGOs or what they call it as non-governmental organization. NGOs or non-governmental organizations. That first one is unique characters. Unique characters. So from the name itself, what we can understand about NGOs, it says non-governmental organization. Please understand, objective of the government and NGO is same. People's welfare. Okay, NGO also works for people's welfare. Government is also working for it. From the name itself, what we can understand is non-governmental organization means what we can understand. That's a unique character of NGO. What is non-governmental organization means? It's private, not only private, welfare of the people is their objective. From the name itself, what we can understand is, right on first unique character, excluding government. Right on first factor is unique character, not part of government authority. NGOs, not part of government authority. Not part of government authority. Second unique character, grassroots presence. Grassroots presence. They will be present at the lowest level of the society, correct? Even where government cannot reach. So that where we can see NGOs working on it, tribal areas similar to that. Okay. The next thing is started by citizens. So NGOs are always started by citizens, correct? So it doesn't need to write an examination or stand in politics to start an NGO. Any common man can start an NGO. Finally, next one. Represents specific interest. Represents specific interest in the society. So represents specific interest in the society. A good example is if we take Greenpeace. What are primary focus of Greenpeace? Human rights or environmental rights? Greenpeace. Very global famous NGOs, correct? So what they will be focusing on Greenpeace, environmental rights or human rights? We know that Greenpeace ultimate focus is only environmental rights, correct? So like that they'll work on specific areas, very specific areas in the society NGOs work. So these are some of the unique characters. Okay, not part of government authority, grassroots presence. It is what we call it as last mile connectivity. These are the terms, you can use it in your answer writing also. Last mile connectivity. Even it reaches to the last citizens of the society. And next thing is started by citizens. It's started by common man themselves. And also representing the specific interest. The example of Greenpeace and environmental rights. Greenpeace and environmental rights. And next thing is roles and functions. Next thing is roles and functions. So can anyone say what is the role of NGO in a society? So what are the things they are doing in a society or what they are doing in a democracy? So what are the primary role of NGOs in our democracy? So what are the primary thing they are doing? Any idea? Just use your common sense. So employment generation is one, volunteer help, people welfare, development, okay. Create awareness. Okay, someone has put create awareness. What area they'll create awareness? What a primary thing they'll create awareness? Government policy is okay, but what area they'll create awareness? There's one area where they play an active role in creating awareness. Or that area. Education, health is the domain. Okay, the most important thing what they create awareness is not only government policies. So rather the first point is, so what are the primary role of NGOs? First point is to create awareness about rights comma, government policies and programs. Government policies and programs, correct? So when you say about rights, okay, take ourselves, we are not preparing for civil service. Assume that we are not preparing for civil services. When we came across this term rights in our life, so when we came across the term rights in our life, so not colonial era, correct? In schools we have seen it, correct? And what is the purpose of us studying rights in schools? So we studied fundamental rights in our schools, correct? I think it's 7th standard or 8th standard, correct? So what the reason for it? What the reason for studying that fundamental rights is? So there will be a question to get, to not to be aware, I don't know whether you studied for that purpose. Most of people why they studied this fundamental rights in 6th or 7th, there will be a question, correct? To get 5 marks or 10 marks at the maximum. And if you are not preparing for civil service right now, you never know what is fundamental rights means, correct? Simple thing. After the classes, call up your friend, school or college days friends who are not preparing for civil service, ask them what is fundamental right, they never know. Why I'm saying this is the status of an educated Indian. As an educated Indian, we are not interested in fundamental rights. We doesn't know what is fundamental rights means, correct? Take a situation of SC and STs, especially STs. They never know what is constitution means. And in constitution, there are rights to them, correct? So this all will be created awareness by NGOs. NGOs go to tribal societies and say that there's a constitution, there's a rights for you, you can enjoy it. So they come to the government and demand the rights, correct? Can anyone say what are the fundamental rights that applies for the tribal societies? So can you list out what are the fundamental rights that applies to our tribal societies? What are the few fundamental rights? Can you list out few fundamental rights which applies to our tribal societies? So Article 17 is there, Article 21 is there, correct? There's rights on cultural rights are there, correct? Cultural rights, you can relate all those things. So one is to create awareness about rights and also government policies and programs. That's the first one. Similarly, can anyone say what are the other roles of NGOs? One is this one. What are other roles of NGOs? Any other roles of NGOs apart from this? One is to create awareness about rights and government policies and programs. Then any other role of NGOs in a society apart from this? So to raise funds, okay, loans, okay, then any other thing? Provide services, okay, environmental protection. Next point. To assist government in policy making and implementation. To assist government in policy making and implementation regarding socio-economic development. That's the second one. Third one, to act as communication channel. Between government and people. Communication channel between government and people. So it acts as a link between government and people, this NGOs, and when our government policies are being formulated, NGOs play an active role in it, transferring the people interest to the government knowledge and all those things, correct? So that's the third one. Fourth one, to act as early warning mechanism. In the society. What does this early warning mechanism means? To identify the problems in the society. Either it can be socio-economic problems. A good example for understanding this is, so there's a term called surrogacy. Can anyone say what is surrogacy means? So what is the term called surrogacy? Anyone have an idea what the term surrogacy? Right now it's not in limelight, but so surrogacy is nothing but rented womb. Okay. So simple way of understanding what is surrogacy means, right now, if a couple not able to have a child biologically, they can rent a womb. So they can go for a rented mother for that. Tamil sollana vadagai thai. That's called surrogacy. And can you say in which state it was very rampant? Surrogacy. Right now it stopped, but in which state it was very rampant? Any idea this surrogacy? Anyone have any idea which state? It's not Jammu and Kashmir. Please understand that was very rampant in Gujarat. So in Gujarat there was biggest issue of this surrogacy a lot. And can anyone say what may be the reason a woman ready to be a rented mother? What may be the reason for? Logical one, correct? Why a unknown woman comes and says that I'll be a rented mother for your child? What may be the reason for this? Poverty, financial status, correct? And here under surrogacy as a service, women's rights are highly violated because they are being exploited. They know that they need money. So they said that, okay, if you bear a child and give birth properly, we'll give you 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. But the issue is they have their complication in their bodies, correct? And it is against their rights, correct? Because the financial needs are there. And apart from that, child rights is also being violated. What child rights being violated means? Even constitutional rights can be equated here. How we can relate with constitution and child, all those things. My question is, if you want to get a citizenship in India, what are requirements? Okay, it's still no practice in Jammu and Kashmir for getting pure Aryan bloodline. Please understand that's not surrogacy. Okay, I think you are saying about practice, even that is not proven one, what you are saying. So in Jammu and Kashmir, there are few villages which is considered to be pure Aryan blood, and they say that people from Europe come and settle there and have a child. So these are all myths they are saying. So that's very different. So how you can get an Indian citizenship is, for example, by birth. So by birth means what are the condition of that particular classes? If a child is born in India, what are the condition for birth? Even a foreign diplomat can have their child in India, correct? They will not be Indian. They will not be given Indian citizenship. What are the condition for getting a citizenship is by birth, along with either of the parents should be Indian. That's the next condition, correct? So if you take a surrogate mother, Indian, so naturally that goes to the child. Can you understand the point? Assume that a Japanese couple is going for a surrogate mother in India. Right now citizenship issues are there, correct? Whether that child is a Japanese child or it's Indian child, because in Indian constitution says by birth either of the parents should be Indian. So all these confusions are there, correct? So surrogacy was one of the biggest issue 3 to 4 years before in India. And this was notified to the government by NGOs. NGOs said that please government focus on these areas. These are problems in this surrogacy services. Right now women are being exploited, constitutional issues are there. Please focus on it. Then government came out with this surrogacy act. Okay. So go and check this term, altruistic surrogacy. So this can be a GS ethics example, altruistic surrogacy, GS ethics example. Just check what is altruistic surrogacy means. Right now in India, commercial surrogacy is being banned. There is no commercial surrogacy, but altruistic surrogacy is there. Go and check what is altruistic surrogacy means. So you can see that how NGO act as early warning mechanism. They identify the problems in the society and notify to the government, and government will take some measures to avoid it. Okay. That's the fourth one. I think you're able to understand this. The next fifth one is to act as accountability mechanism. To act as accountability mechanism. What is accountability mechanism means? To question the government. Okay. So surrogate will not receive any monetary benefits in altruistic surrogacy, correct? Okay, that's correct. So altruistic surrogacy is nothing but for medical reasons some couples cannot have a child. So is that they should not have any child? It's not like that. If any of their family members are interested to be a surrogate mother, any of their family members, then they can go for surrogacy. That should not be for economic benefits. That's called altruistic surrogacy. Go and check what is altruistic surrogacy means. So to act as the accountability mechanism, so NGOs are questioning the government. That is called accountability mechanism. For example, if government is implementing a program or policies, something goes wrong, NGOs are questioning that. That's called accountability mechanism. Okay. Selflessness. There's English term altruistic means selflessness, correct? So well-being of others. That's the point. The next thing is sixth one. Sixth one, I write it here. Sixth one. To build social capital. To build social capital in the society. To build social capital in the society. So can anyone say what is this term social capital means? Can anyone say what is social capital means? So what is social capital? Any idea? So liaison, no. Okay. Any other good standards of living? No. Good standards of living are there, but school, empowering humans, funds for social cause, no. Networks of relationship, okay. What is social capital means? To understand this, we can compare elections of two countries. One is India along with US. Recently, US election was over, correct? When you say US election, what picture strikes your mind? So what picture strikes your mind when you say about US elections? So right now we have President Joe Biden, correct? Trump is there. But what picture strikes your mind? When you say US election means, what the first picture comes to your mind is? So capital assault, okay, leave out that one. Blue and red, okay. What picture I'm asking is, donkey and elephant is okay. What I'm asking is, once you say about US election, what you can get a visual is, there'll be two persons standing in front of podium and they'll be discussing something, correct? So when you see our news channels and all, that will be the picture they show, correct? Or that will be the video they show, where they stand in front of the people and discuss their policies. Able to understand the point? US elections are fought on policies. Example, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, they come in front of the people and say what is their economic policy, foreign policy, correct, defense policy. They want to convince the people. Can you understand the point? This is what I'm going to do for next 4 years. Based on that, people vote for the party. Compare India. If you take India, on what basis people are voting for the parties? So that's called presidential debate. That's correct? So if you take India, on what basis people are voting? Is there anywhere political parties discuss about all these things? Literally no, correct? Either it may be based on caste, religion. Right now, money is the biggest factor, correct? So in India, social capital is not that much developed. Okay. Social capital means people's awareness about their rights, awareness about democracy, governance, and very good relationship with other institutions. All this we call it as social capital. So in India, social capital is not that much developed when compared with Western world. Can you say in India, which are the places where social capital is comparatively equal to Western world? Can you identify which are the states like that? Where social capital is very good. Compared to the Western world, people are well aware, they know what they want, and political parties cannot fool them, correct? So one good example is Delhi. Delhi is a good example of social capital because that's the reason why Arvind Kejriwal is able to win the elections. And which is the other state we can see that social capital is very effective is Kerala, where people know their rights well. So political parties always need to work for the people's interest. They can't fool the people, correct? And these are the two areas in India where social capital can be compared with Western world. Rest of other places you can see that either it can be caste or it can be religion or money play a major role. So NGOs always try to build the social capital. That's their primary role. So these are some of the roles and responsibilities. Okay. So any clarification on this? Next. NGO, and policy implementation. So NGO and policy implementation. Next slide heading, NGO and policy implementation. In that, first, rural development. First one is rural development. So assume that you are the Secretary for Ministry of Rural Affairs. So if you want to develop the rural areas, what should be a focus for developing rural areas? If you want to develop a rural area, right now you are the Secretary for Ministry of Rural Development. So government comes and asks how we can develop rural areas. What should be a focuses? So one is we can start with infrastructures. Okay. Focusing on infrastructure. So when you say focusing on infrastructure, it can be road, electricity, housing. So these are a few examples of infrastructure. Okay. So apart from infrastructure, what means the other thing we can focus is health and sanitation. Okay. Next we can focus on primary health and education. You focus on primary health and education. Then any other thing apart from this? Okay, right now what are the major economic activity in rural areas? Without that you can't develop rural area. What are the major economic activity, correct? So financial inclusion is okay. So we know that major economic activity is farming. So we need to focus on that. For example, we need to focus on agricultural productivity. To focus on agricultural product. Can you say a difference between agricultural productivity and production? What is production? What is productivity? India is very good in agricultural production, but we are very poor in agricultural productivity. So what is the difference between these two? Productivity is input-output ratio. Okay. Productivity is efficiency. What is production? What is productivity? Please understand, production means total output. Okay. What is productivity means per unit area. Can you understand the point? Total output of Indian agriculture is good. Go and compare rice. What is the tons of rice we have cultivated? That will be very high. But if you go and check rice per hectare or rice per acre, rice per hectare is the standard, I think so. If you go and check, India is not that great. So India need to focus on agricultural productivity. Apart from agriculture, what are other economic opportunities in rural areas? Please understand, in India, agriculture is what they call it as rain-fed. What does rain-fed means? What does rain-fed means? What does rain-fed agriculture means? Any idea? What is rain-fed agriculture? Rain-fed agriculture means depends upon rain for irrigation, correct? And we know that in India, 4 to 5 months we got rainfall. After that, there is no rainfall. For remaining times, what people can do in rural areas, apart from agricultural activities? Small scale industries, correct? Then they can focus on cottage industries. They can focus on cottage industries and agro-based industries. Cottage industries, agro-based industries, economic activity, correct? And apart from this, who should be the targeted people there? Without their development, rural India will not develop. Who should be the targeted people? Women is one. Apart from women, farmers is okay. Farmers is a general one, correct? In farmers, who should be the target one by the government so that development will happen? So depressed landless laborers, okay. BPL families, okay. Tribal landless laborers, okay. So when you go for targeted people, women farmers, small farmers, marginal farmers, landless laborers, landless labor, SC, STs. So these are the target people. So without their development, you can't say that rural India will develop, correct? So BPL families, you can include all those things. So when you say rural development means you need to concentrate on all these areas. So what the role of NGOs in this is? So let us example Kapat. So example Kapat. I'll say the expansion. What is Kapat means? Council. If I'm fast, let me know it. Council for Advancement. Council for Advancement of People's Action. Council for Advancement of People's Action and Rural Technology. I'll say it again. Council for Advancement of People's Action and Rural Technology. An agency under Ministry of Agriculture, an agency under Ministry of Agriculture, responsible to transfer technology to the farmers. Technology to the farmers. That is lab to land. You can note down this term. That is lab to land. Second point, the NGO act as, next point, NGO act as communication channel. Between Kapat and farmers. So this is the first example of policy implementation regarding rural development. The next thing is tribal development. So can anyone say how you identify a tribal people? What may be the criteria for a tribal people? How we say this group of people are tribal people? Is there any criteria for that? How we say that person is a tribal people? One is language, then language is a criteria, then apart from this, primitive culture, backwardness, living area, excluded, okay, lifestyle, okay, lifestyle is no technology, then you all, okay, technology, okay, traditions. That's my question. On what basis you identify a tribal society, correct? So population, not connect with outside world, correct? Method of agriculture, physical appearance, okay, physical appearance. So is that can be a criteria for tribal population, physical appearance? On what basis we can say that? Fear of other humans. Don't think like that. Okay. Is that you know that when you say tribes means, which location strikes your mind? When you say tribes in India? When we speak about tribes, where we can relate it? So tribes means one area where we can relate potential UPSC questions can be, it will be in Andaman Nicobar. When you say about tribes, you need to relate with Andaman Nicobar. Is that you know in Andaman Nicobar, there are certain tribes which are considered to be more dangerous. If you go near them, they'll kill you. I think 2 years before, there was an American tried to enter their domain and he was killed. Sentinels, correct? Go and check who are the tribes in Andaman Nicobar. Probably that can be a prelims question because each island is occupied by certain group of tribes. Okay. So why I'm asking this is, so when you take tribes, we have certain perception. So don't think that tribes in the aspect of appearance or civilized characters. If you are in interview stages, don't say all these terms. You get into a big trap, correct? So we always think that tribes means uncivilized, some of us. It's not true. So civilization is not about the technology what we use or what is the dresses we are wearing. Apart from it's about values, correct? And they say that tribal values are more matured and civilized when compared with modern day values, correct? A good example for the thing is to check it as compare the sex ratios. What is sex ratio means? Can anyone say what is sex ratio means? What the term sex ratio means? Any idea about this term sex ratio? Sex ratio means for 1000 males, how many females are there, correct? What is all India average for this? What is all India average for this? Any idea? It's 950 is high, I think so, correct? 850 is very low. I think 920, 930, somewhere in that range. But if you go and check for tribal societies, it is around 990, 980 to 990, very close. This clearly shows that they are the more civilized people, where they give importance for women. Okay. So what are criteria right now? Criteria for tribal identities. Criteria for tribal identities. One is geographical isolation. One is geographical isolation. Mostly they will be in remote areas. And next thing is unique culture. Geographical isolation and unique culture. And from prelims point of view, go and check Andaman Nicobar tribes. They can ask you the question. Sometimes if they want to make question very tough, they can ask about their race and all. For example, Mongoloid race, Negroid race, which are the tribes like that. You just need to know it. Okay. So if you want to develop a tribal society, what should be your focus is? Assume that you are the secretary for tribal affairs. What should be the focus of tribal development? According to what are the things you focus for tribal development? So what are the factors you take into consideration? Very logical one, correct? Education is one. Keep them undisturbed. Okay, infrastructure. So one we say, we list it out and see what are the possibilities. Just we list out what our friends says. One is infrastructure. Next thing is education. Apart from this, any other thing we can focus on is relocation schemes. Okay. Relocation. So relocation is one. Apart from this, old age care. Okay. So next you can put as health. So if someone has said primary health, focus on primary health. Then what will be the other thing can be done for tribal societies? Apart from this, medical care is okay. Medical care. Market access. Okay. Market access. That is what we call it as minor forest produce. One of the biggest economic activity of tribes is focusing on this minor forest produce. What a good example of minor forest produce is? What example of minor forest produce is? Good example is honey, correct? Honey is a good example. Honey, bamboo, good example is honey. So these are some of the suggestions for tribal development. Any other thing you can add on apart from this? Do you think this may be suitable for them? Helping them to learn new skills for employment. Okay. Okay then. Anything? New skills for employment. Modern employment. Okay. Modern employment. We'll list it out and see what are the possibilities. We are just listing out different ideas for tribal development. Then apart from this, integration into mainstream. Okay. Mainstream. Security against Naxalism, digital connectivity. Okay. So we'll see what are the possibilities here. Please understand in this aspects, which are the things which is not suitable for tribal societies is. Can you identify what are the options right now not suitable for tribal societies? Just use your common sense, correct? So what are the things we cannot use it for tribal societies? One is this mainstream. That's the reason they are tribes, correct? So they are not exposed to modern values. They are not exposed to modern lifestyle. If you say that if you want to integrate them to mainstream, they'll not be tribe at all, correct? So mainstream as an option is not suitable for tribal development. If you say that, another 30 years down the line, they'll be like a common man, like a modern man, correct? So that is not possible. So mainstreaming, you should not do it for tribal development. Once you say that mainstreaming should not be there, sir, if they wish we have to integrate them, please understand they'll never like it. If you give them the choice, come and integrate with modern society, they will never like it because their lifestyle is very different, correct? Simple thing. Can you put a tribe in modern building? I'll say a point. Assume that you are a district collector and you constructed the best school in the district for tribal societies and hostels are there. They'll not come to your school and hostel because they never like buildings. Okay, they never want to sit in one confined space For their entire life, they roamed in forests. They're very happy to move from one place to other place. We ask them to sit, they'll not sit, right? So they never like it. Okay. So one is we cannot go for mainstreaming. Mainstreaming is not a good option. Once you say it's not mainstreaming means next you can also focus on relocation. Relocation is not best solution because tribes are associated with their environment. If you take them and put in different environment, they cannot survive. A tribe in forest area, a tribe in hilly area, for thousands of years they have a lifestyle, they have knowledge about that area. Relocating never happens. So that is not also an option. The next thing is modern employment. Why they want to get modern employment? They never want it, correct? So they have their own way of doing things. No tribe want to become a software engineer, correct? I'm saying from general perspective. So modern employment is also nothing but similar to the same point, mainstreaming only. So out of these options, minor forest produce, that can be done. Primary health can be improved. And education, when you say education means keep in mind, this should be tribal value based. Tribal value based education. Even if you give the modern education, they will not accept it. Tribal value based education, that they will accept it. If you want to teach national movement, that should be Birsa Munda, not Mahatma Gandhi. Tribal value based education. And infrastructure is also a questionable one. Right now, if you're developing a road network or if you're developing some power projects and all, that will disturb them a lot. So these are the best options right now. So infrastructure can be a 50% correct. What type of infrastructure you are developing? So road network should not be there because when you give a road network for tribal areas, unwanted movement will be there inside it. So it creates a lot of trouble. So tribal development, tribal value based education, primary health, minor forest produce, correct? That should be the major focus. So write down the example here, TriFed. Example, TriFed. What does TriFed means? Write down. That's correct. Ekalvya schools. Just check this. Probably my spelling may be wrong. It's a mythological character, correct? So just go and check this. I don't know what is TriFed means. Tribal cooperative marketing Federation of India. Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. An agency under Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Responsible to market tribal minor forest produce. Market tribal minor forest produce in urban India. Next point. NGOs act as communication channel. NGO act as communication channel between tribal societies and TriFed. Okay. So just go through what are the things we discussed today. We'll stop with this. The remaining thing we'll see in the next class. Any clarifications or doubts? So any clarifications or doubts? Regarding offline classes, probably they are planning by last week of Feb. They'll intimate to you. So last week of Feb, possibility will be there for offline class. That will be based on batches only, not for entire all batches will come here. For governance, notes making is not required from paper. What you read with polity, that's enough. Tribal identity, one is geographical isolation and unique culture. What is trifid definition? Tribal, marketing, Federation of India. Refer sources. One is our institute material. Next is class notes, newspaper, and I said a book called Kuldeep Mathur, From Government to Governance. Okay, shall we wind up the session? Okay, thank you. We'll see the remaining thing in the next class.